Hey, what is up, you guys? It's Dustin, and I am back with another video. And in this video, I want to talk about how Tana Mongeau basically exposed Jason Nash finally once and for all for the world to see what kind of person he is. Now, you guys know, if you followed me for any amount of time, I am not a fan of Jason Nash. I do not like this guy. I have been calling this man a creep for a very, very, very long time.
Get Tana have a three-way with me, Trisha. I'll fucking buy you a Ferrari.
So in this video, I want to react to Tana Mongeau as well as Brooke Schofield exposing and dragging Jason Nash. So if you guys are here for that, stay tuned to this video. Okay, so I had to listen to Chapel Row and Hot to Go twice to calm myself down before I got into this, because this is something that will get me really heated really quickly. But if you followed me for any amount of time, like I said in the intro, you would know that I am not very fond of Jason Nash. Not only because of the stuff with Tana, but if you've seen how he treated Trisha Paytas during their relationship the whole time that they were together, he was a horrible person to her, a horrible boyfriend, a horrible anything. There are compilation TikTok videos everywhere, and Jason Nash should truly be ashamed of himself for the way that he treated Trisha Paytas. And that is just one of the many reasons why I do not like Jason Nash, and why it really pleases me in my soul to see him have to beg over on TikTok.
Thank you, Christian. We have to keep winning, guys, to get gloves. When we lose, we don't get gloves, and then we keep losing. So we have to win this.
So before we get into the stuff where Tana really exposes him and calls him out of his name and calls him a piece of shit, I want to give you guys a little bit of background information as to why I really cannot stand Jason Nash. And this goes back to the days of David Dobrik, because if you used to see David Dobrik, you would see Jason Nash right along. It's like the two were joined at the hip, and anything David Dobrik said, Jason Nash would do. And if David Dobrik said jump, Jason Nash would say how high. So let's look at some of this ancient vlog footage for a minute.
We pretend to go on a date for clickbait.
Fair enough. I'm old, and I don't know anything about YouTube.
But there's nothing wrong in hanging out with us just to collab.
Oh, no, I wanted views, too.
That's why Jason hangs out with me.
Then we go try the clothes on, and she comes in the dressing room with me. The woman goes, you guys want to go into the dressing room together? And Tana goes, yes.
No, I did not say
yes.
that. I asked her, like, do you care?
You're trying to sleep with Jason?
No!
Both of our cameras are off. And I go, all right, well, let's go. And then she takes like a really long time to leave the dressing room.
I just take a long time. Like, I was like putting both my phones in my pocket, plugging one into the portable charger. Like,
in my mind, I was like, if I don't try something, it's gonna eat me alive.
What would you do?
For the rest, I leaned in for a kiss.
He pecked my mouth. I was so confused.
I literally, like, maybe we touched a lip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who do I side with? Jason, what the is wrong with you? That's who I side with.
Okay, gag me with a motherfucking spoon. Who wants to kiss Jason Nash first and foremost? And I already thought that Jason Nash was way too old for Trisha Paytas, and I don't really remember how old Tana was at this point in time, but it really don't matter to me, because I believe that Jason Nash was damn near pushing 50 anyway, and I think that Tana was maybe 18 or 19, so you already know the vibes, Jason Nash. I think you're disgusting and gross, not only because what you did and what you said with Tana, but also for the argument that you got into Trisha with over this whole thing, because you made her feel some kind of way as well.
Thought that it was okay, and it wasn't.
I guess I just obviously regret making like the video as a whole, because I always do. I just thought like I gave David and Jason both a chance to show like a little bit of like sympathy, as they do with all their other friends, their guy friends, and not me. Like, I don't get any sympathy. If some things happen in the friend group, everyone's like, oh my god, I'm so worried about this person. But me, I was in very much distress. I group chatted both of them. I individually texted both of them. I talked with Jason. I left voice memos for David.
But he was literally, he got on a plane right before, so that by the time he landed.
No, he told me he wasn't even on the plane yet. He wasn't even on the plane yet when I tried to halt out.
You agreed to let us use that clip.
I didn't. I said whatever. When you don't say anything, people just keep letting it happen. And it took me making this crazy video for him to delete his 2 videos that hurt me so much. I think a normal person, if someone's like, hey, can you delete the video? Jason asked me to delete the video, and I was so just like angry because no one else was like showing any remorse, and I was like, I'm like, I'll delete it if he deletes it, and that's why the videos were taken down.
But I mean, like, you didn't have to make that video. You could have just called David and be like, take it down. Take these videos down. I mean, it's just very drastic.
I think just an apology would have been good from him. Just being like, I'm like a genuine calling me. I was so upset. I texted him so much.
I mean, he was on a plane.
He wasn't yet. He's like, I'm about to board a plane. And I was like, okay, but I'm like really
You should
upset.
have waited until he landed and then been like.
I mean, we have an hour. We have an hour of text conversations before he took off. Like, it was an hour.
If I was in that situation, the situation that you were in, and he had put something in that I didn't want, I would have been like, okay. I would have waited till he landed and been like, you have to take that down, and he would have. Why do you have to ruin everyone's life?
I didn't. I ruined everyone's life. I replied to him videos out there about me and yours relationship, about you wanting to Tana.
But it's not true. I've told you a million times. Like, it's just not true.
I started to not know because I wasn't even there for when you and Tana were hanging out.
And good on Trisha for calling you out several times on this. And truthfully, I don't think that this is talked about nearly enough. Like, is it not weird that Jason Nash got to skate right on past that and never have to address that? That's weird. That's suspicious. But now I guess we need to get into where Tana really exposed his ass over on the Cancel podcast. Now, you guys know that Tana has been throwing her digs at Jason Nash for a while now. There's several TikToks where she's talking about him begging. And like I said, that brings joy to my little black heart because I don't believe that people like Jason Nash should be able to prosper. But Tana really went in on him as well as Alyssa Violet. And you guys know that I covered that situation where Alyssa Violet really should have kept her mouth shut.
Alyssa.
I did watch maybe 2 or 3 minutes of this to kind of gauge the situation and what they were going to be talking about. And I do feel like I know enough about this situation now to be able to talk about it. So let's get into it.
I've not been able to really get my words together for this whole Alyssa Violet, Jason Nash situation. So I decided that I will begin discussing this with a bit of spoken word.
Okay, lay it on me.
I also wrote this right after the Avatar porn, so it might all be bad.
What were you on?
I don't know, dude. I had the scaries. Okay, I'm writing poetry and fucking Avatar. Like, why? I could go to bed, take a sequel. Let me sleep. I don't know if it's happy or sad. God, Alyssa, why did you do this? Alyssa. What are we going to do? You've caused us a big mess with your mean girl stew. Alternate line. I think that it's time to put down the cauldron and broom. Okay.
She's a witch.
All of this mess just so you can use David's pool.
Oh.
You came at me for shaming, but then said I sell my hole. But if it weren't for Marshmallow, you'd be on a pole. Oh. Dying on a hill for Jason fucking Nash. I suggest you shut your trap before you're both doing DoorDash. You are no stranger to being rude to a waiter or going on a smear campaign. Remember when you used Depop to incite Paige Loren's shame. Alyssa, you've caused a big mess. But I guess anything to sell that pink dress.
Honestly, first of all, you could get that published somewhere. That was really beautiful.
Alyssa should have known when she barked up this tree that she was going to get her ass handed to her, and Tana and Brooke both gave it to her.
Alan Ho. That was really special. That was up there with Without You by Tana Mongeau.
Put my whole Mugadoo into it, as
Put your
people are saying.
Mugadoo into that poem. But you know what I especially liked about your poem is the usage of mess multiple times, because she included that word in my MLA formatted message. Message,
if you will.
Should I talk about that, or do you have more? You go ahead and say your piece before I say mine.
I didn't want to do this. Like, again, I want 2 fucking weeks off, like, so bad, from just, like, I want to talk about fucking flowers and butterflies and rainbows. You put me in a corner, okay, Alyssa? And nobody puts it in a corner.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Like, just, oh my God, okay? For my first point of all of this is, like, I don't think bullying is okay and great, right? Like, I don't think being mean to people who don't deserve it or joking around at people who don't deserve it is like the nicest, greatest thing in the world, okay?
Of course not.
But here's what I will say, and I die on this hill. If it's fucking funny, I'm gonna fucking laugh at it. And no one is taking that away from me, and I mean that in every single case scenario, okay?
We're comedians.
And it's like, you're lying to yourself if you don't think this fucking shit is funny, okay? And so she goes on this whole TikTok rampage saying, first of all, I came for a girl in a tree, okay? She was dying on this hill, a peaceful fucking girl in a tree, okay? And I'm going to insert the TikTok, right? Okay?
But
I've been noticing a trend of women posting themselves in nature, right?
But basically, obviously, they're shaming people who are in on the drama because it's like, oh, I'm so above this. I'm laying in the grass, and it's so unimportant.
Do you guys remember, like, several years ago, there was this whole article going around of people, like, sunning their buttholes? That's very much given this vibe. Like, I'm going to go sun my ass and be one with nature. I'm not going to reduce myself down to lowly drama on the internet. Girl, bye. Don't pick up those tabloids the next time you're in Publix.
But it's like, did you hear about the drama? No, red heart. Look at these trees. You're on TikTok making that TikTok from the tree. How the fuck are you gonna say, did you not hear about the drama when you're following 800 influencers? Like, I went to her page.
And how did you know that there was drama? Huh? From the grass. Also,
you're not just in a tree. You're making a TikTok in a tree. It's funny to make fun of.
Yeah,
you're better than everyone else.
You're on your iPhone. It's like that whole thing. It's like you don't get an award for watching less TV. Like, get the fuck over yourself. No shade.
It's about radiation.
No shade to that girl. Like, it's like I get honestly. Like, I probably like that TikTok because I was probably like, you know what? I wish I was in a tree instead of making a 14-part series.
If the narrative was like, I'm enjoying myself in a tree, I would have never made fun of it. The narrative was, I'm better than you because I'm enjoying myself.
Correct.
Okay? Mm-hmm. And so here we are again. If it's funny, I'm going to laugh at it. I don't know why I'm going full social justice warrior over here, but it's like, if someone can make something like that, like the stitch that I made to that is warranted, in my opinion, and you can't convince me otherwise, right?
I think so too.
And now we're going to talk about Jason Nash, okay? And I have done everything in my power to never have a serious, like real serious conversation about Jason Nash, right? Trisha and I have dabbled, okay? Here's the thing. For everything Jason Nash has done, he is lucky that the main focus is his problem with panhandling for those cowboy hats, okay? I went back the other day for the very first time ever in my life, and watched these videos of Jason and I when I've been 18 for a week, right? And he's trying to kiss me when I've been 18 for a week, right?
So now that we know that Tana had just turned 18 when he was making these suggestions to her and trying to kiss her, I am so glad that Tana cleared that up for us. We all know now, the whole world, everybody watching this video, Jason Nash was hitting on an 18-year-old and he's like 45 years old, or he was 45 years old, or something close to 40 or 50 at the time. He's a weirdo, just so you know.
And he's trying to kiss me. And again, I also lived that. Like, I will never forget being in that dressing room with Jason Nash and he's trying to kiss me. And I'm like, what the fuck has my life come to, right? This is not what I signed up for the vlogs, Mr. fucking black hat giggle guy.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Like, on top of that, just the way he was to Trisha, I don't have to sit here and go in on that at bullet point list. Either you know and you care, or you don't know and you don't care, right?
I think she personally, honestly, doesn't even want to be tied to him ever again. So let's just
100% understandably so. It's just, when you go back and you see all of that content that lives forever, it's disgusting. Therefore, now watching him, you know, Oscar said this on Trisha's podcast. He made a lot of money through David Dobrik and blew so much of it on narcissistic passion projects like short films and comedy central and fucking shows and whatever.
And now he gets on the internet and begs people in live streams on TikTok so he can pay his rent and utilities every single month. To me, that's really no different than the people panhandling begging for money, because he's essentially begging for money when he's asking for these galaxies and these cowboy hat gifts and all that. So Jason really went from being in the in crowd making a ton of money to like begging for his life on TikTok. And he doesn't just do like little streams. I'll see him in the morning and I will see him at night. He's got that grift going.
And seeing the trajectory of his career and financial state turn into panhandling on live is hilarious. And for his defense, like, Alyssa had the fucking gall and wherewithal to say, like, he's just trying to make an honest living.
No, an honest living is getting a normal job. It's not, there's no shame in having a normal job. Who cares if you were once a very successful influencer? You can get a normal job.
And if you think, he said, and I quote on a podcast with Zach Justice, he said, working at Lululemon would be more embarrassing, essentially. I'm so sorry.
No.
I would rather see you sell Align leggings every single time than whatever the fuck that Galaxy bullshit is, okay?
It just, yeah. And how,
Thank you, Tana. You were saying what everybody is thinking. If you're watching YouTube and you use TikTok, let me know your experience down below, because my experience with every scroll, it's somebody asking for something. Somebody needs rent money. Somebody's car got repossessed. Somebody needs to buy groceries. Somebody needs money for their light bill, and on and on and on and on and on. And I am so sick of seeing it. And specifically because Jason Nash lives in a mansion that's like $1.5 million. Like, why are you grifting on TikTok? Why are you taking from people that have less money than you, Jason? This should not be a retirement plan. You should not depend on your following that you got from David Dobrik years ago. That's embarrassing, dude. That is so embarrassing. Instead of the little passion projects that got you nothing, why didn't you invest in like real estate?
what shade to like somebody who works at Lululemon? Like that's so embarrassing.
Like you're above them.
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
speaking like you're above other
them.
people.
Yeah,
and it's like, so where is this humble? Like, I don't care if I have to be the one. It's fucking hilarious. Every single time I've opened the TikTok app for the last 6 months, 4 finger movements, and he's there with the cowboy hat, bro. Have you seen your kids grow? Like, you know what I mean? It's fucking hilarious, and you will not convince me otherwise.
And I mean, there's something to be said about the fact that he still lives in like a nice house in Hollywood. He has a very nice lifestyle. I just saw him front row at the Noah Kahan concert. Like, he's doing just fine, okay? At the expense of all these like little fucking 10-year-old kids who are using their mom's money to buy him a cowboy hat.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That is so fucking sick to me, Jason Nash. You are so disgusting. Talk about exploiting people that don't know any better. I've talked a lot about Jason Nash, but I don't really know his demographic like that. And if that's true, you're disgusting.
Lavish lifestyle isn't sad. So if that's how he's making the money, I'm gonna make fun of it. Okay? Like,
yeah, in a lighthearted way too. It's not like you can.
No, I'm gonna be mean about it. If you're begging for money on TikTok, I'm gonna name and shame you, Jason Nash. Quit begging for money. Quit it.
Came on and you just like ripped him apart.
I didn't come on and say he tried to assault me in a dressing room when I was 18. He was
Which
fucking
you could
74.
have.
Like, you know what I mean? Like I said, if that's all I'm saying, I think he's getting off pretty scot-free. You know what I mean? Here's the thing as well. If I thought Alyssa Violet was a tree-hugging, peacekeeping, Bible-thumping, fucking kind woman who really just cared about the best interest of other people, it wouldn't enrage me as much as it does. Here's the thing. You want to use David Dobrik's pool. And I mean that with my whole fucking chest.
What's wrong with Marshmallow's pool? Is he gone? I'm wondering. I'll call him.
And don't even allow me to comment on that. You want to use David's pool or kick it with David and Natalie, and that's your side, okay? And like Moses said, it's like you've drank the Kool-Aid, dude. Like, I side with Jeff, and you know that. So we already have an opposing side there, right?
And I don't know all the lore here. I don't know who's supposedly good and who's supposedly bad. And given what happened with Tana, I believe her. So I don't really need anything further than that.
Like, I side with Jeff in the whole David situation, already right there, okay? Then we make a podcast mentioning one of her best friends, Tessa Brooks, and an altercation that happens. Listen, I will say Tessa Brooks can live, okay? Like, I want to bury it.
You keep going.
And now you feel the need to defend Jason because you're drinking that Kool-Aid, and Tessa because you're dying on that hill, and you come online.
No, she's not she used it. She saw the opportunity and she said, oh my God, this is enough of a reason to do something that she already wanted to do, which was make a video slandering you, thinking that she was going to get a bunch of people to rally behind her because you are somebody who is controversial on the internet and has a lot of people who like maybe don't like you sometimes.
And I said that exact thing in my video.
Then we haven't even gotten to the video itself.
Let's get to the video itself.
You're sitting in a car, clearly with someone else. Like turning and laughing, like trying to laugh at me. Like it's giving like it's giving Regina and fucking Katie are in the car and like, we're gonna make a fucking TikTok about Tana. She's such a fucking dumb slut. I'm right. Yeah. Right? Suck me. Okay? She makes this video and her entire thing is that I'm just this evil fucking bully who's shaming everyone, but God forbid accountability and other people might just also fucking suck, right? And then in the video, she goes to talk about how I sell my butthole on OnlyFans. First of all, I never have. Second of all, I'm gonna now out of spite, okay? Third of all, what the fuck? Where do you get off? Where do you get off?
I am going to make merch with Tana's asshole and Alyssa's face on the same fucking shirt. Honest to God, what? Like, that's the most shameful thing in the world.
Here's
like,
what I'm going to.
I'll buy it. If you do it, I'll buy it. Take my money. I like Brooke Schofield. I really do. She's funny. She's entertaining. And I love her and Tana together. Now, I know I'm going to end up having to talk about Tana and Cody Co because that situation is bad. But in this moment right now, I really like Tana and Brooke. And it sucks. But we're going to have to talk about that too in another video.
But how about this? How isn't that how a lot of people are making an honest living and how they're supporting their children? Fuck you. Stupid idiot.
Do you know how many times I've been out with Alyssa Violet and she's asked me if she should start an OnlyFans if I can help her because she has no fucking money? And then you're gonna come online and shame me?
That's what I heard.
You know how many times I've literally, the last time I was with her was at Barlease, like, and she's fucking jaw swinging asking me about fans. You wanted to do it. You're just mad because you wouldn't succeed at it because you fucking flopped.
Maybe she should get back into diss tracks.
And that's what
that was also an honest living, right?
The highest.
Brooke and Tana are so shady. When I say that they're diabolically shady, they are so fucking shady. But it's not even really shade. They're just reading the fuck out of all of these people. I understand why they have enemies and why people don't like them because they are like exposing everybody. And there's this whole trend now on TikTok about Brooke and Tana about how they don't have followers, they have fans. This shit is so funny to me.
Best moment of your career was being so wildly negative to someone else. And here's the thing. I have always genuinely thought, and here's the thing as well, when all this started happening, I woke up to like 15 texts from influencers, people like with lots and lots of followers, begging to come sit on this podcast and do a testimonial of a time that Alyssa Violet was horrible to them, okay? And I might do it for the Patreon. I might have a whole fucking episode where we circle people coming in and telling.
I might have to join their Patreon. I'm like seriously considering it.
Their stories. The amount of stories I've heard in the last week, it is a collective agreement that she is one of the meanest girls in LA. You and
I just told her.
You'll get into your piece on that, okay? You know what I mean? But here's where I stood at one point, right? She had her whole moment with Jake Paul, and then so did I. And I was in this place where I was like, the world would want us to hate each other. It would feed into that, like I don't want to say letting a man win because Jake never wanted us to hate each other, but I'm just saying like, you know what I mean? I wanted to like rise above that and say like, look, even though that we shared these similar interests and whatever, like, and it'd be easier for us to hate each other, here we are as friends, right? And I do love Lele, and like Lele's very close with Alyssa, so a lot of Lele shit I would go to, Alyssa would be there, and I would like just do my best. And you know me,
Who the hell is Lele? Can somebody please explain down below? Like, no disrespect. I just need to know who the fuck Lele is.
I'm very like friendly. Like I would do my best to be like really friendly with this girl and post photos and hang out and talk. But I always felt like she didn't really fucking like me. And eventually, I mean, obviously this proves the point. Like, I don't know if she really likes anyone other than her close friends that she can keep for a couple years, right?
Well, I mean, she cycles through friends like she cycles through hair color. Like she is.
And it's
I think we all know somebody like that.
Like, I tried my best. You never wanted to like me, and this is your like final excuse. And like, and don't even get me started on the Jake shit. Like, you just want it and this is murky water because it's like, I always want to like ride for the woman in every situation. But I know for a fact so much shit she said in that like hit piece towards him wasn't true. And it's like, you just wanted to go date Banks.
That's what bothered me so much about the whole like Ricky Banks situation or whatever it was. Like, I don't know, like the Paige Lorenz like whole Depop thing that she did. I'm like, all of this over Ricky Banks. Like, no offense, Ricky Banks, but like
I love Ricky Banks.
But you know what I mean? Like it's like somebody who's not known for being a loyal guy, but you're gonna shame some random girl that you literally don't
never
even know.
Met. That's the thing,
and I don't even know if that's the guy they were talking about. That's just what I assume. But
it's just like you bullied Paige Lorenz on Depop, which is the craziest Mad Lib of a sentence ever. I hate
Out
2024.
of nowhere.
You don't know her?
She was sitting bored on her couch checking her fucking...
What's the difference between Girl in Tree and Paige Lorenz Pink Depop Gate? I can't.
There isn't.
Oh, I think that's almost kind of worse.
How embarrassing, Alyssa. Like, you should have just sat there and minded your business. I don't understand why, of all things, you wanted to use Jason Nash to try to get at Tana Mongeau. Did you really think that that was going to end well? Did you think that this was going to end with you like gaining more followers or something? That had to be your goal. That had to be what you were thinking was going to happen. How embarrassing for you, girl. Oh my gosh.
That's right.
There is no difference. So she sends me this long DM. I don't know if you want me to read it in full. It's really not necessary, but it basically says, first line, yo, I don't really know you.
Why was she calling me dog in our text? DAWG. And I was like, okay, Central C.
Yo, I don't really know you. First line, already offended. Alyssa Violet, I have met you at least 150 fucking times. I have spent hours with you. We have so many mutual friends. I have gone to birthday dinners with you. I have been around you in so many ways. You want to know why you don't remember me? Because for a long time, I didn't have any followers or clout, okay? And you know, when you started noticing me and maybe saying hi here and there, as soon as this podcast started blowing up, and I will never forget that. I noticed that about...
Don't you love it when people are like that? They don't want to have anything to do with you when you're down and out, but they want to have everything in the world to do with you when you're doing good. I hate people like that. That's disgusting. Alyssa sounds like a social climber.
About people, I will never forget.
And every time you've ever talked about people only coming around to you or showing you the time of day once this podcast started to take off, it was kind of in reference to Alyssa Violet.
It was always in I'm so particular about that because I keep those people in the back of my mind always, because if you treated me one way before I had canceled podcasts and you treat me a different way afterward, listen, that's literally deeply ingrained in my memory, okay? Doesn't matter. She goes on to say that your most recent TikTok is not an accurate description of my Depop caption, okay? It's so easy. You could have just Googled it. That's what she said. She said, I never called Paige Lorenz a whore, nor did I say she was trying to steal my man. This is why podcasts and TikToks are so toxic and dangerous, because they spread misinformation like wildfire.
Made a diss track with Rice Gum. 10 million views.
The entire point...
So them having a podcast is more detrimental to society than Jason Nash begging for his life for galaxies from like 13-year-olds. That's your argument? That is so pathetic, Alyssa. That is so sad. How sad for you, girl.
I made with Tana was to not support
platinum. Sorry.
The entire point I made with Tana was to not support cyberbullying. Then everybody made it about Jason Nash, which was not my point. Like I told Tana earlier, I cannot wrap my head around how some people use this platform we were given to spread constant, targeted, incessant hate toward others. Alyssa, be so fucking for real. Let me keep going.
I'm loving your addressing to camera though.
The page comment was just a silly story on a Depop caption. It was just a silly...
Brooke said, let me keep going.
Silly story on a Depop caption. And it wasn't constant target and bullying videos towards somebody trying to make extra cash. Again, misinformation that you're spreading with your video. So I went ahead and screenshotted the Depop caption to send to her, just so that she knew I actually wasn't that wrong at all. This was the caption in question. Pink tight dress, super snatched, makes your waist look tiny. I wore to a party with my situationship in 2021, and it was a weird mini rave, and this girl came up to me and said she loved me and she thought I was super cool. She told me she followed me for years and wanted to be just like me. Then she followed me all around the party all night like a stalker, and my friends thought that she was sketchy, but I gave her a chance. Then she pulled me aside and said, by the way, I hooked up with your ex. Can we still be friends? And I walked away. That girl was Paige Lorenz, first and last name she used.
This is all in Depop to sell a pink dress.
What a bitch. And you have the gall and gumption to get on the internet and try to drag Tana Mongeau for anything about shaming people? Wow, girl. It's very much given hypocrite, like rules of thee, not for me. Like, I'm going to tell you, you should do this and I'm going to set the standard this high, but I'm going to maintain the standard for myself right here. Do you realize how that comes across to people? That's not a good look.
Depop to sell a pink dress for fucking $50. Alyssa, you don't have $50. You have fucking 13 million followers.
You better get
$15. Get a
maybe
fucking...
you should sell your butthole like you asked me to.
Anyway, my situationship said my waist looked snatched and the dress was, but like that was nice. Doesn't matter. That was the caption. So I went ahead and sent that to her. because I thought she might like to see it since she said that I was clearly misinformed. She said, yes, thank you. My point proven. And I'll spare you the millions of voice memos she sent back and forth. But basically, I was like, no offense. I don't care if you didn't call her a whore or a boyfriend stealer. You deliberately wrote a super malicious caption out of fucking thin air for no fucking reason.
On
specifically on Depop of all places, bitch. I'm like, talk about trying to make a quick dollar, okay? And you're gonna try to say that you hate cyberbullying. You don't even know this girl. And the thing is, Paige Lorentz is another.
They are eating her up. They are eating her alive. It's kind of like we're watching them stomp a roach that just won't fucking stop. Like, you have to know when to throw in the flag. Like, you could have just stopped and none of this wouldn't have happened and you wouldn't have got aired out to all these people. How many people have watched this video at this point? This video has 31,000 likes and I can't scroll down. Well, 668,000 people. So that's 668,000 people that are going to think that you're an asshole, Alyssa. How embarrassing for you.
Person who's kind of like you, Tana, where a lot of people on the internet rally behind, like they just hate her. Okay? It's a thing. It's like there's a lot of people against her, so I think that it was like kind of targeted specifically to her because she knew that she could get people to rally behind her.
And that shit also went viral. Like, you knew what you were doing. Like, and you knew what you were doing and it went viral.
And so we were sending all these voice memos back and forth, whatever. She says, what's your number? And she calls me. And I'm really nice to her on the phone. I'm like, listen.
I fucking hate when people do that. If we're going back and forth, the last thing I want you to do is fucking call me. Text me, send a voice memo. But if you call me, I can guarantee you that I'm never going to speak to you again. Do not call me. And I want to know what you guys think about that. If you're like arguing with somebody over text message or voice memo or something like that and they call you, do you answer? Because I don't. Immediately no.
And I don't mean to like, because I had made a TikTok and I was like, Alyssa, weren't you the one who did this Depop thing? Like, calls coming from inside the house situation. It wasn't even mean. It was just like, listen, like, you're a bully. Let's not call out other bullies. Okay? She calls me.
Non-bullies.
She calls me and she mentions, like, you know what? Like, she did this to Jason. It wasn't even supposed to be about Jason. I didn't know anything about that Jason situation. I'm like, okay, well, another point I should make. If you don't know anything about a situation, then why the fuck are you commenting on it?
And yes, you do. She was like, if you guys don't, like Tana and Trisha, like, if you're on that side, like, if you didn't know anything about the Jason situation, how would you know that side exists?
It's not adding up, Alyssa. But I'm like, I don't know. Hopefully your fucking Depop money is. Then she goes on to mention that she was writing for Tessa Brooks. And I mentioned to her, listen to me. And this I want to go on record and say, Tessa Brooks is one of my close friends. I love Tessa Brooks, okay? I was put in like a kind of interesting situation with that Paige story because it's like Paige is my best friend, okay? So when she's sitting here telling me a story, I don't want to invalidate her story, but I also don't want to like be like
smear campaign Tessa.
Yeah, smear campaign Tessa. So it was just like an awkward situation for me. I don't even know if I like how I handled it. I didn't know what to do in that situation, and I felt bad for both parties. I felt bad for like, you know, dismissing Paige. I felt bad for condemning Tessa. It was just strange. And I've since apologized to Tessa because it's like I don't want to have beef with Tessa. I've been friends with her for a long time. Whatever. So I told Alyssa that doesn't matter. And then she asks me if I can delete the video. Can you delete the video? I go, if you really need me to delete the video, I'll delete the video. Oh, no. But first she says, you know that your video is getting a lot of attention just because people are watching your Clinton Kane series. And I
immediately no, I would not have deleted that video. Anything she would have said past that point, I would not have cared, and it would have went in one ear and out the other. How are you going to ask me to do something for you in kindness that's going to benefit you and ask me in a condescending way and say some shit like that? Absolutely not. I would have made 5 more videos about you. What the fuck?
I want to go on record and say, Alyssa, I have been getting so many views, so many more views than you for so long before my 14-part series about Clinton Kane. It is actually ridiculous, okay? For you to assume
that's exactly what I mean, though. Like, her entire demeanor has always been talking down to people. Amari was telling me how, like, the 35th time he'd hung out with her and me, like, all night. For a while, she tried to treat him like he was a waiter.
Literally.
A waiter. Amari Stewart.
Tana, I can't tell you how many times I remember specifically. I'm in like a suite with her at Caesar's Palace. She doesn't fucking say a word to me. I've met her 1,000 times. We'll be standing in a circle of 3 people and she won't look in my eyes. I know.
I hate motherfuckers like that. Like, you're gonna look down at me. I'm one of those people, like, I'm gonna give the janitor the same respect I give the CEO, if that tells you anything. So how the fuck are you gonna turn your nose down at me? Because if it's money or something like that makes you think that you're better than somebody, you're fucking not.
Been that, like, anytime I've ever been with Alyssa, like even like Lele's wedding, it's like she wants to sit in the corner and talk shit about everyone else and laugh at other people's looks and their whatever. And it's like, I had to get away. I was like watching the UFC fights instead.
I can name 10 girls off the top of my head who have horrible experiences with Alyssa Violet. That's just the facts, okay? But I would never talk numbers. I don't give a fuck about views or whatever it is. But you're not going to tell me that the reason people are watching my video about you is because I'm having a viral moment because I exposed somebody else, because I'm also this big bully, okay? So I set her straight on that, and
I think that we can all agree that Clinton Kane deserved what Brooke did to him. Like, you can't just go around lying to everybody and treating people like shit because you want to, because you have mental illness or something. But also, how fucking gross of Alyssa to say that to her. That's like really talking down to Brooke.
I said, you know what, if you need me to delete it, I will. But then, you know what, I thought about it and I said, actually, I'm not going to delete that video. This is what happened. I go, listen, I fear it may have to be a follow-up. I'm not deleting my video because I mean what I said. But if you want me to clear up that you didn't say the words dirty whore or stole my boyfriend, I will. So I made kind of like a backhanded video, like a follow-up being like, sorry guys, Alyssa actually didn't say dirty whore. Like it was like kind of satirical. It was funny. Whatever.
It was great. It was in my last video that I covered this in. I think that Brooke is really good at throwing shade and people don't know how to take her.
And she says, you can defend Tana, but also say I spoke with Alyssa and she had good intentions. It was a pileup of negative videos and she just happened to choose the Jason one to respond to.
You never had good intentions.
She's telling me straight up, but also on the phone, she's saying, if you want me to come on the podcast and clear it up, I'm like, respectfully, we have only the most elite of talent on
no
the
one else
canceled
will
podcast.
come on. It's just Trisha Paytas.
And she's just, she's texting me, who cares, whatever. I go on Just Trish yesterday or day before yesterday and I say my piece. I say, listen, I don't think this is a nice girl. I don't think that what she did to Paige was nice. I don't think that she's the one to call out anyone for being mean, because I've had personal experiences with her being mean. I've seen her be mean to other people. I know that she can't keep a friend. That's just the vibes. She texted me yesterday and
that's
says,
what I'm saying. If it was like Nara Smith calling me out, like I'd go look in the mirror, like you're mean.
This is what she says, Tana. Girl, you are so messy. I just saw a clip from Trisha's podcast and I am so sad. I thought we had a good talk and you said you understood my point. I did understand her point, okay? That we aren't supposed to be cyberbullying. But my point was...
We're not!
Of course...
I have not seen Brooke cyberbully anybody. I feel like everybody that she's ever called out has deserved it. Plus some. She's done a lot less where I would have probably done a lot more.
Well, this is the thing. That is the point. We're not supposed to be cyberbullying, but my point was you are a cyberbully. You're a cyberbully. Anyway.
Remember that movie?
She said, you completely 180'd with what you told me originally. It's very disappointing. Also, you made up a few random lies about me out of nowhere. It was interesting. I distinctly remember how we spoke on spreading misinformation, fabrication can be damaging and harmful, and you agreed. Yet, you completely did.
You said I saw my hole, I don't.
But, well, that's what she's talking about. She's talking about how I said that she... had inquired about OnlyFans to you.
David's pool isn't even that great either. Like, I'm sure the YMCA downtown honestly has the same pack.
This is what got me really bad, Tana. She said, I understand you have to publicly defend your co-host who gave you your career, but to throw me under the bus after you privately told me something so different is wild. I sincerely hope these paychecks are worth your morality, girl. Unfortunately, there's a reason nobody wants to come on the podcast, and this is a huge part. Actually, Alyssa, you want to come on the podcast. You asked me yesterday, you fucking weird bitch. Sorry. Anyway.
What? Do you guys see the anger in Brooke's eyes when she said that? Wow, she's got daggers for Alyssa.
Anyway, I said, Alyssa, be so fucking for real. I said, you called me and you said your piece. We had a very condescending conversation and I told you straight up that I stood behind my video and I'm sorry that I got the words wrong and you didn't call her a whore. That's the truth. I said, I think you are mean. I think you are mean, and I think that you're dismissive, and I think that you made that video about Tana with complete deliberate intention to get her hate. Messy is coming out of a social media break just to condemn Tana in defense of Jason Nash of all people. I said, bless your heart, messy is not the word. And I said, I reached out to Tessa because I do love and I respect her, but you've been rude to me 100 out of 100 times I've met you, and you called me to delete a video just because you knew it was getting tractions, in your words, just because I'm having a viral moment. So you reap what you sow. I said, be nice.
I love you reap what you sow.
Be nice and people would be nice. And I don't even know if I want to read her MLA formatted fucking novel. But
did you guys see that? That was a book, girl. I am not reading all that. I'm not responding to all that. You could have not. You really just could have not. So girls done sent her numerous voice memos. Girls done sent numerous text messages, and she's tried to call her. And now she sent her an MLA formatted like response letter with what looks like bullet points. Like, Alyssa, you need to calm down, girl.
Poor grammar, by the way. I read it today. It's like you got bigger fish to fry.
It's up to you.
Comma, period.
I don't even know. It's really not worth it, but it's like, it's just fucking stupid. And I finally sent her a voice memo where I told her, I was like, listen, what you're not going to tell me is that I'm defending Tana because she gave me a career. I'm defending Tana because I hate that people come for you on the internet because you feel like an easy target because they know that they can get people to rally behind them. But now's not the time. Now's literally not the time.
I also think
you
it's
are
like,
so in such a different era of your life right now. You're so, in my opinion, unproblematic, and you haven't done anything wrong to people. And if anything, people have done you so wrong recently that it's like, it's not even, it's fucking, you know what? Kick rocks, Alyssa.
I think it's like I'm finally at this point where it's like I see the world very clearly, and I can see where I've done wrong, and I can see where others have done wrong. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I'm the be all end all with the gavel who makes the decisions. I'm just saying, like, I'm not going to just sit back and watch this narrative where women call out people, more importantly men, but people in general, who have done them wrong, and they're the bad guy. They're the bully, they're the toxic, they're the whatever. Like, no. It just absolutely.
And earlier in the first part of this video where I had the clip of Jason Nash and Trisha, there are so many instances in that one clip of Jason Nash trying to gaslight Trisha Paytas and make her feel bad for other people crossing her boundaries. And I think it's safe to assume that Alyssa Violet is okay in defending that, but she wants to call Tana out for shaming people.
Absolutely not. And
was anybody condemning her when she made that huge video about Jake Paul and how wrong he did her? No, everybody got behind her because they, you know what I mean? Like,
and it's like, and then even just on the note of like Girl and Tree, again, if funny, I laugh. Few word do trick.
Few word do trick. But I listen, I didn't say anything on that podcast, on Trisha's podcast or the podcast today, that I didn't say to her in real life. That's just the fact.
No, my favorite part of this whole interaction of the both of you was that after her literal Twilight series novel, you responded with a voice memo, and she said, I'm not listening to that. There you are.
She says, I'm not listening to your voice messages, nor do I have to. You have proved who you are to me countless times. Oh, so now you admit you have met me countless times. Isn't that funny? Miss, I don't really know you. Okay, anyway, you have had opportunities to make amends with certain people, situations, and predicaments that you've gotten yourself into, and decided to get defensive, backtrack, and make up even more fabrications to cover up. By the way, is she on fucking thesaurus.com? I know this bitch isn't this literate. There's clearly no solution-oriented way we are going to solve our issues, so I suggest we stop talking. I do not agree with who you are as a person, and I think you are a very messy individual. And I said, piss off, Alyssa. You're the meanest girl in town. And I mean that.
And that is how Jason Nash got dragged and exposed by Tana Mongeau on the Canceled podcast. But if you liked this video and you enjoyed it, don't forget to like it. And if you made it this far in the video, leave me the clown emoji down below for Jason Nash. I hope you guys all have an amazing day, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.